Channel 5 Network. This is Open Line.
Well, hello, good evening, and welcome into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long. Glad to be along with you for the next hour. Glad that you tuned in, especially tonight, because this is Ask an Expert night, and we're going to be asking the attorney. Very excited to have, as always, Kevin Kennedy here from the Kennedy Law Firm. Kevin, every time you're here, always enjoy seeing you.
Chuck, it's great. You know, when I knew that you were going to be with me, it was exciting. You're always so animated. You're always so fun, knowledgeable. I told some you ought to be a lawyer. As a matter of fact, we'll get you and take you to the Kennedy Law Firm.
I'm sure I can learn a lot. Every time you're here, seriously, I learn so much. Now, the Kennedy Law Firm, you guys have been in business for years, and there's a reason for that.
34 years. You know, when I go back and look over my career, I say, wow, how long is that? But the good thing is I do look back, experience.
Yeah.
And one of my judge friends said, Kevin, remember this, experience will protect you. That's why children should listen to their parents. That's why parents ought to take in everything and continue to teach, preach, push, pull, and protect the family. And so that's why this show is so great, because a little bit of knowledge goes a long way, and it'll help you sleep better at night, help your family sleep better at night. And so that's why I love being able to be here and share with you today.
It's always one of the most fun hours to spend here with you, because people call in, they've got a lot of questions to ask. And one thing that I always mention when we start the show, especially when Kevin's here, is when you know that question that you want to, or comment that you want to get in, make sure you dial us here, 737-7587, right here at News Channel 5+.
Yes.
When you started your whole law,
yes,
did you ever feel that it would grow into what it's grown into?
No. I stay in the reflection mode quite often, and I look back, and you know, I've had the opportunity. I did the Oprah Winfrey show one time. They said that in the 90s, it went across the Associated Press that I did more divorces than any lawyer in the nation. That's incredible, and that was when she called on the phone that day and said, well, can you come and do this? Well, I was shocked. And over the years, we've had the opportunity to represent some celebrities and be in some high-profile cases. And I said, wow, who would have ever thought, even when I was a small boy, thinking about opportunities in the future, I did fulfill. I lived the American dream. I really did.
What do you think the key to your success has been?
I'll guarantee you it all goes back to a mother and a father that took me to church and gave me the Sunday school, vacation Bible school. I'll tell you, Chuck, you know what's dangerous? For a smart man to not have any self-control. So Sunday school and church taught me the scriptures. I don't take any dispute with the scriptures today. So you will reap what you sow. You know, they always say, well, the lawyer said what goes around comes around. That's true. But the Christian said, you'll reap what you sow. You know, as I've been a lawyer, I've tried to be a man of mercy. I've only had to advance when it was absolutely, I had to do it. And there's another scripture I think I quote to young lawyers. They say, Mr. Kennedy, I said, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. And so I really do think having the opportunity to go to church, and we represent lots of churches, lots of pastors. You hate that but there's conflict everywhere, Chuck. And so I would definitely say that's where I learned to publicly speak. And it's just been a real blessing all these years. I still teach Sunday school every Sunday.
Well, that's probably one of the other keys to your success, staying in there doing that.
Woo!
Now, you know, when people, too, I know when you're watching, and there's so many times when you're thinking, I really would like to get some great professional legal advice.
Yes.
This is why we love this show, because you're able to do that, whether it's criminal law, family law, bankruptcy, personal injury, estates, wills. I mean, there's a whole bevy of topics that people can ask about during this hour. And like we always say, though, make sure you get online as soon as possible. The phones always get busy when Kevin's here. In fact, they are already busy. We're going to go right now to line one. Trina's on the line with us. Good evening, Trina. Do you have a question or comment for Kevin?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, recently a man wrecked in front of my home, and he took out my mailbox. And his insurance company has contacted me, and they want me to get an estimate how to replace that.
Yes.
And so do I need to get like a licensed contractor to give me that?
Yes. Yes.
I need to fax it to them.
Yes, I would. And a lot of times what you need to do, you know, people ask me these questions about reputable people doing business. Check them out a little bit. Many times we recommend getting 3 then you can evaluate the quality of work and the expense. You know, there's an expectation that their materials would be up to quality, that their workmanship would be, and so you have a right to pick who could fix that. So one say this guy says I want $1,200, another one says I want $500, and another one says I want $800. I think I would take the high one and submit it to the insurance. And of course, then they'll have their own figures and try to negotiate with you down. So get the information first. You know, it's kind of prepare. They say, Kevin, how do we go to court? Prepare. If we're going to make a claim with the insurance company, they got brilliant minds. They have plenty of resources. Prepare. So when you say prepare, I mean that's from day one. As soon as whatever the situation is, document. Take the pictures. That car, if that car is, because you never know. The guy gets back and he says, no, that was already damaged. We don't owe that. Or the insurance company comes up with a witness and says, hey, that is completely not the way it is. So you have to protect your own rights, your property rights, your family rights, your personal rights. Proactive approach. Be creative that I just shared. Don't let them, because if they use their appraisal, Chuck, is it going to be high? Is it going to be low?
Well, if it's theirs, I think we know.
He knows. I told you, this guy's right on it.
All right, thanks so much for calling in, Trina. Once again, we are asking the expert tonight. If you're just tuning in, we are talking to lawyer Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. You guys have 3 locations.
Yes.
You have the experts, and one of the things that I know that people, because we get so many people that call in repeatedly, and they have used you guys a lot of times, is the fact that you guys, you're not just the experts, but you guys prepare and prepare. I mean, I think that's your key too.
Yes. Well, one of the things, you know, people ask me all the time, why should, on these big personal injury cases, they'll say, why should we go with the Kennedy Law Firm? One is that we have the largest private courtroom in the state. Well, that costs some money. One of my lawyers said, I think you've lost your mind. And I said, that was established a long time ago. So we built the largest private courtroom. What does that mean? I have the ability, and my staff and lawyers can try your case before it ever gets to the real trial. If there's mistakes, we flush them out. If there's things we want to tweak in an opening statement and a closing, I like to get those opinions. Say, how do you like? And they say, Kevin, you like to hear yourself talk. Not really. But I do like to correct any weaknesses, and I want to hammer my strengths, and I'll stay away from my weaknesses, and we'll hammer their weaknesses and stay away from their strengths. And the real world is the vast majority of all these cases, criminal and civil, with competent lawyers, they're settled.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, if you're watching right now, our phones are getting really busy. We want to make sure if you have a question or even a comment that you would just like to talk to Kevin about, make sure you call us as soon as possible on that number you see on your screen, 737-7587. You are watching Open Line. We're going back to our lines right now. We're going to Rhonda. Rhonda, thanks for your patience. And do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, I'd like to ask about apartment living with respect to dogs and music as far as noise levels.
Yes.
I've lived under 3 different managements, and you know the attitude is you can always leave, but that's, as a practical matter, that's really not an option.
Yes.
And what I'm getting at is I had at one point, I mean I've recorded the dogs barking, and I've had the police out at one point, and the officers told me in one case that they could cite the owner of the neighbor that was doing this, but this neighbor was getting in the process of moving out, so they said by the time it was heard, it would kind of be a moot issue. They also said that I thought, you know, everybody's aware of noise ordinances.
Yes.
Apparently, they're different for different kinds of noise, and it seems to be very subjective.
It is. You know, the truth of the matter is all of those, basically, you have the right to peace and dignity wherever you are, and if they're blasting music, there's going to be, you call it a noise ordinance or a nuisance ordinance, but the police will come out, and usually they say shut it down, or they will charge repeatedly, and so you have to respect the rights of others, especially in an apartment complex. Other thing you're sensitive to is you want to be a good neighbor, and you can win the battle and lose the war. And so what you've said is exactly right. And so I would try to take the first step, try to talk to the neighbor, and then if you have to resort to the police, then so be it. They will prosecute. You probably wouldn't. You might be called as a witness, and you might not. All
right, great advice. Thank you so much for calling in, Rhonda. Once again, line's very busy. We're going right back to the lines. Caller, you're on the air with us on Open Line. You have a question or a comment for Kevin?
I do, Kevin. Hey, listen, you know, I'm a pastor, and one of the #1 calls, requests I get is for somebody who needs an attorney.
Yes, I understand, Pastor. And thank you. We love the pastors. You know, you got to hold this thought right here, Pastor. Hold on, I'm going to take it. One of these guys said, you know, Mr. Kennedy, you need a lawyer you can trust and a pastor you can believe in. I said, God, that is great. Go ahead, Pastor, with your question.
Okay, well, usually I got in my phone, I can give them an attorney if they, you know, I think that's what they need, or, or you know, whatever. But today I got a call from a lady, a text. She says, Reverend, I need a lawyer because one of the stores, I want the video, and the police is giving me the runaround.
Yes.
So how do I get a lawyer? And I didn't have an idea of what kind of lawyer or where to refer this one.
Yes.
And it was funny, you on tonight. I said, here's the answer, because I don't know what to tell her to do. She wants the video from a store.
Yes.
The police is giving her the runaround, so I need a lawyer. That's her conclusion. What do you think?
Well, Pastor, first off, you are great. You're on the first line of defense, and I like people that goes to their pastor and just talk, because a lot of times, even if we didn't know the answer, we can use some good rational judgment, just like Chuck and myself, and we love our camera crew here, just discuss it. And most lawyers have free initial consultations. Call them and talk. And all these businesses, they say, I don't want to turn this over to you. Now, if I get a subpoena, I have to turn it over. You know, so many people think, well, this is private and this is mine. When you get subpoenaed, and that could be used as a regular business record, they're going to have to turn it over. And then even then, a lawyer can look at it, you could look at it, the judge could look at it. So always talk to a lawyer, and pastor, and have a good relationship with son. And but I appreciate your work, and I appreciate all. We have lots of pastors that watch this broadcast. Thank you for all you do.
Yep, and thanks for calling in, Reverend. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
A lot of you on the line with us right now. We do need to take a short break. Hang on the lines with us. We'll be right back, because Open Line will continue right after this.